Welcome back to Thistle Hill Farmstead. This morning we're out at the chicken coop and we're going to be taking a look at our automatic chicken door. For some reason it stopped working and we're going to take it off today and see if we can figure out why. Come along with us, and if you like this video, please press that like button. It really helps us out a lot, and remember to subscribe to keep up to date with all of our videos and smash that bell notification so that when we post a new video you'll be notified. So as I said, the chicken door here has stopped working for some reason. It's operated on a photocell, which is supposed to activate it to open in the morning, and then at dawn it's supposed to, at dusk I guess, it's supposed to go down. And it stopped working for some reason. So we're going to take it off today and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. Hey girl. The chickens are always interested in what's going on. Let's see. Just held on by 4 screws onto the screen door here. Oh, actually 6 screws I see. Okay, there she goes. And then it's got a power cable that goes around to an outlet that we have here. Yes, the outlet is in the frame. So the outlet's right here. Here's the power cable. So actually, I don't need that. I think I can leave that connected. Yeah, it's right here. It comes apart. So I can leave the plug. Take my gloves back off. I can leave the plug here at the coop and just take the wire. Okay. Fish this back out of here. Okay, so there we go. Now let's take it back to the garage and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. So I've got it in the garage now, and I'm going to clean it up a little bit first to see so I'm not getting so dirty working on it. Get some of the dirt off of it. Not that that's what's caused it to stop working, but it's always nicer to work on something that's a little cleaner. Okay, that looks better. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got it cleaned up now a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can figure out what's going on with this. Now, one of the things that I have to say I was not real excited about this unit was the fact that you have to take it apart to adjust any of the dip switches. And that's probably because this is sealed here and you don't want water getting into it, obviously. But it just requires that you have a screwdriver or tool to take it apart. And you can't quickly and easily change the settings on it. Like there, I had it set for closing immediately at dusk, and I think it was closing too soon. Some of the chickens were left out, and so I changed it to close an hour later, and then I thought, well, that's maybe a little bit too much, but you have to take it all apart like this to change the dip switch setting, so I just left it. I wish it was a little bit easier to change the settings on it without having to take it apart. Okay, so there we go, and this is the inside. The unit is sealed pretty well. You can see all the electronics are encased in a like a epoxy resin casing, so that keeps them dry and keeps them from getting wet and stopping working. The dip switches are coated with grease, dielectric grease, I assume. So they should be good too. There really should be nothing to go wrong with this. So I'm not sure why it has quit working. And then here are the dip switch settings, so you can adjust how the time that it opens and closes. So let me clean this up a little bit. Unless the motors burn out for some reason, I'm not sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is test this. And this door, see, it's just it slides up and down. Now maybe it's got some dirt in the bottom, so maybe that was stopping it from going down and causing some trouble, but I don't think so, because it's supposed to stop if it hits any obstruction, like a chicken, so that it doesn't hurt the chicken. So, but it does have dirt. I can see it does have dirt down in this bottom of the slide. And I'll clean that out, but that should not have stopped it from working. So let's set the little slide door back here. Let's take this thing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the dip switches so that we can set it to open and close immediately when it gets dark, and then we'll see if the motor runs. I'll bring you up closer where you can see it. So here we are closer, and you can see that here are the dip switch settings. So I'm going to change those, and let me see what the settings need to be to make it open immediately. Evening delay, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Let's see. Dip switch 1, 2. So right now I have dip switch 2 clicked on, evening delay 60 minutes. So I'm going to click that one off. And that should give me no delay. And then on the bottom you have a sensor that you can set to just sense the light and dark. So this should work now immediately. Let me plug it in and see what's going on. Okay, so we got power. That's good. We got a light. Hey, look at that. I'm not sure if it goes for a pre-described number of turns or if it goes until it feels tension. Okay, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger over the photocell here. When it's dark, I'm putting my finger over it. Actually, I think it was turning this way when I was holding it, so that's going down. So maybe the photocell has gone bad and it thinks it was dark. Let's leave it here at the light for a minute and see if it goes the other way. In the meantime, I'll get something to clean these little tracks out on this. Okay, I've just got a pick and a little flat screwdriver. Let's see if this will get some of this dirt out of here. And this dirt, I'm sure, got in there because there is no grass around the door. It's dirt. And when it rains, of course, that splashes up and deposits itself in here. Not sure I know any way to avoid that. Yep, that looks pretty good. Looks like it's closing almost all the way. Maybe there's a little bit more in there. Yeah, that looks pretty good now. It's closing all the way. It's even on the top. Okay. Sure. I can see that it has been getting a little bit of water or dirt in here. Maybe I can take some silicone and seal up this area a little bit. But it ran, so I know everything's working. So maybe it is the photo eye that's gone bad. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's opening now. That's the up direction. I'm not quite sure what is going on with it. Okay, it's open. All right, let's put it back together. Oh, now it's closing again. Why is it closing? I see it's going back down again. Why is that really happening?
Okay. Not sure how that little motor is held in there. Looks like it may be friction welded. I don't see any kind of screws or fasteners, so I'm not going to try to take that out. So maybe it's this switch here that's kind of faulty. Looks like this is just held in with, there we go. Let's see. A little bit of spiders back there, but other than that, hey, that's nice. Looks like we've got it molded with the Chicken Run logo in there. I'm going to clean this out a little bit. You can see that there is some dirt in here, so some water and stuff has been getting in there. But everything seems to be sealed really nicely. Maybe the switch, this little pot potentiometer has gone bad. Okay, I'm just going to put it back in there. Get the wires out from behind it. It's really not held in with anything other than this wire being back behind the this edge here. There we go. So let me see if I cover the photo eye again. Well, that's it for the Chicken Run diagnosis video. I think what's happened is the photocell here has gone bad. As you saw during our kind of troubleshooting and testing, it thinks it's daylight all the time, so it's raising the door up. And I know the motor and everything's working because we can press the test button. And you can see it does close. And really it should stay closed because I have the photocell covered and it should be getting no light in there. So it should think it's dark and therefore the door needs to be closed. But you'll see as it goes through this down cycle, it will open right back up. So that tells me that there's an error or something's going on with the photocell, and it thinks it's daytime all the time. So I'll see if I can get a new photocell and put in it. I may contact Run Chicken and just see if they've got any recommendations, or I'm not sure if there's any kind of warranty on this, and I'm not really sure when I bought it. I'll have to go back and look. It's one of those things I did before, I bought this before I started the YouTube channel, so I didn't do a video on putting it in, and so I don't remember actually when I bought it. But so I got in touch with the manufacturer, and they sent me an email back and suggested a couple of troubleshooting things to try. Now, one of the things they said to do was, instead of covering the photo eye completely or covering it with a piece of tape, to cover it with your hand cupped, because apparently the photo eye doesn't just sense the light on and off. There's some electronics in it that senses how the light dims over time, and therefore it recognizes that it is dusk. So let's just try it by cupping my hand over it as they suggested and see what happens. And sure enough, it works like that. That's amazing. I would have never thought that there would be a difference between just putting your finger totally over the photo eye and cupping it like this, but hey. So I'm not sure why it stopped working before. Maybe it needed cleaning like we did, but I definitely now have, it's working. If I remove my hand, it should open back up. And it does. So that's good news. I can take it and put it back on the chicken coop, and I'll take a look at it tonight and just make sure that it's working tonight. So I'm going to reinstall the door here. I've, like I said, I did the testing inside and it worked. So I'm going to put it back on. And what I've done here, this is just our screen door that goes into the chicken coop. And I cut the wire in it and put a little piece of wood here and folded the wire back so there was nothing sharp. Did the same thing here, folded the wire back and then put this little piece of wood so that there's no sharp edges. So when the ladies come in and out, there's nothing to catch them or cut them. So I'm going to put it back on here in the same place. I had put 3 screws in each side. Let's see if I can get it back in the same hole. And hopefully it's going to work tonight. I'll come out later on once the sun goes down and check it. Of all things, it definitely doesn't hurt that it's been cleaned up. And maybe that might have been some of what the issue was with it. Hey girl, come on out. All right. Now this doesn't need to be tight because there's no pressure on it. It just needs to be snugged up, good enough to hold it to the door. Okay. Now I'm going to take, the nice thing about this electrical plug is it comes apart here, so it gives you the opportunity to run it around through small areas, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run it back behind the door here through the chicken wire so that it's out of the way. I'm going to come up and do the same thing up here. Thread it through. Let's see if I'm still in frame. Nope, I'm a little bit out of frame, so I'm going to move up a little bit so you can see. There we go. Just going to run it around the top of the door here. Let's see, let me back up just a little bit so you can really kind of see what I'm doing. Okay. So now that I've got it run up the side out of the way, we can plug it back into the outlet here, or the connector. And then I'm going to come around to my outlet and just plug it back in here. And then I'm going to take this excess and just kind of tie it up here. And tuck it in the box. just like that, and then close it up. And there we go. So it should be ready to go for tonight. Let's test it one more time. So now let's try it. Now that I have reinstalled it and it's plugged in here, let's see if it closes. Well, not closing this time. Let's see. Let me make sure it's working. I'm going to press the button on the bottom. Okay, yeah, it's not working. So I either don't have it plugged in, or my outlet here is not on. Okay, so what had happened is that's a GFCI, ground fault circuit interrupt outlet there, and it had tripped. So I just reset the outlet here, and we're going to try it again. Okay, and you see it worked. So now if I remove my hand, it should open back up, and it does. All right, so it looks like Run Chicken automatic door is working again. That's great. So it's the morning of the next day after I repaired the Run Chicken automatic chicken door, and I checked it last night and it did work. However, I don't know if you remember when I showed you the dip switches that control the time delay for the closing of the door. There's one for 30 minutes, one for 60 minutes, and you flip both of the dip switches and it'll delay 90 minutes. So when I was troubleshooting yesterday, I turned them all off so that there was no delay on it at all. And when I came out last night after it got dark, the door was closed. However, there were several of the chickens that were stuck outside of the coop. So that tells me I need to change the delay. And I had it set to an hour before, but I think that's a little bit much. I believe I'm going to try 30 minutes today, and then I'll check it again tonight and see how it does. So there was really no trouble getting the chickens in. I don't know if you're aware that once chickens roost and they kind of go to sleep, you can just walk up and pick them up with no problem. So I just opened the screen door, walked up and picked them up. I think there were like 3 on this side over here where the watering buckets were, and maybe 4 or 5 on the other side. So there were quite a few that didn't get in last night before the door closed. So I'm going to try the 30-minute delay tonight and see how that works. So let's change the dip switches. I'll flip the camera around here so you can see what we're doing. So what I have to do to change these dip switches is just take this control box off. And like I mentioned yesterday, I really wish maybe they had some thumb screws here. And I don't know, maybe I'll try some wing nuts or thumb screws, just so that you can access this thing a little easier than having to actually take it apart. However, I guess, you know, the theory is that once you set it, you shouldn't have to mess with it anymore. But it sure is a little bit of a
pain to have to take it apart to change the dip switches. Okay, so here are the dip switches. Here are the settings, and I know this is upside down, but here it says dip switch 1 for 30-minute delay. So I'm going to flip this dip switch here on. That's dip switch 1. So that should give me a 30-minute delay once it gets dark, and we'll see how that does for the chickens. If they don't get in with that delay, we'll have to set it back to an hour, but maybe that'll work for them. Let's see if I can get this back in here. Okay, I got that one started. Make sure my the motor gears are engaged in the door slide. Well, let's see. Come on. And I did discover yesterday that it really doesn't matter whether the door is up or down. It's not a cycle type mechanism where it goes up then down. It's just it detects the change in the photocell and goes up or down depending on. So let's do this. So that way I know it's down right now and it's daylight, but when I press the test button here, oops. Okay, so it tried to go down, and you hear the hum. That means there's something blocking the door, and it should stop in a minute. Okay, anytime now. Okay, there we go, and now it's gonna bring itself back up. Okay, so now I've got it set for a 30-minute delay tonight. I'll come out again tonight and check and see how the little chickens do, if they get in there on time. If not, I'll have to change it to an hour again.